Did you know that The List Show has shared around 7,500 facts with our YouTube audience since we premiered in 2013? Hi, I'm Erin McCarthy, editor-in-chief of mentalfloss.com. Thanks to Kevin Gietrix for asking us to tally up our total number of facts. Here's how we came up with that number. If you add up all the List Show episodes, you get 8,121 facts. Subtract 500 from our 500 Fun Facts video, which was basically a greatest hits episode, and you have 7,621. Figure about 1% of those are repeated facts, and that means using a fairly generous definition of facts that includes things like debunked life hacks, that we've shared around 7,545 facts over the years. Or I guess make that 7,546. And that's just the first audience question about The List Show that I'm going to answer today. So you just heard our intro song, and Balooey writes, where does the opening and closing song come from? It is written by Jason Widener, who's a really great composer, but we don't actually know if it has a name. So if you have an idea for what we should call it, leave it in the comments. A number of viewers, including Rick Seiden and Apophis324, asked for updates on old Mental Floss video folks like John Green and Elliot Morgan. We really loved working with John over the years. He stepped away to work on some other projects. For example, he and Hank are doing this amazing charity fundraising thing where they're trying to raise $25 million for partners in health in Sierra Leone. We popped a link in the description in case you want to donate. And Elliot and Craig are also up to some really cool things. They're posting on their own channel, so you guys should check that out too. Related. Tover Yonder writes, is there really a Meredith? I think it's fake. Fun fact, there is a Meredith. She's real, I've met her, and actually we asked her for a comment about this question, and Meredith said, yes, Meredith is indeed real. After an amazing 8 years of working on this channel, my work concluded at the end of last year. But it has been so much fun writing for and learning with the most amazing audience on YouTube. I guess that makes sense. Or is that just what the lizard people want us to believe? On to the next. Sherlock Sensei and BG Philbin asked questions about the set and how we choose items for it. Also, everybody's screen names are really good. It's kind of a mix of stuff that we brought ourselves and that we bought, and I would say that it definitely reflects my personality. I wanted this set to have kind of like a library meets curiosity cabinet kind of vibe, so a lot of the stuff reflects that. So let's point some things out. This is a vintage viewfinder from the 1940s. It's mine. I bought it at the Brooklyn Flea. Many of these books are books from my personal collection. One that isn't on the set, but maybe should be. Hold, please. It's the Christopher Pike book, Fall into Darkness. If you know, then you know. This is a Death's Head moth. I really love Silence of the Lambs, which I saw when I was way too young. My family was on a vacation at Colonial Williamsburg, and my parents thought I was asleep, but I was actually awake, watching The Silence of the Lambs. And now it's one of my favorite movies. My husband actually got it for me for Valentine's Day one year, which is really romantic. Anyway, tell me in the comments what movie you saw when you were way too young. And then of course, can't forget my children, Pearl and Ollie. They're my babies. Okay. Trevor PC Harkenrider writes, is Erin McCarthy, host of Mental Floss List videos, related to Caitlin Doughty of the YouTube channel Ask a Mortician? They share similar facial features. Does anyone else agree? So Caitlin and I are not related. I think it's just the bangs. But I have read her book, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, and it's great, so I would highly recommend it. Grover Maddock wrote, when is the next Life Hacks Tested video coming out? I'm not sure. We actually have a couple ideas in mind. One of them involves setting things on fire, so it's a little complicated logistically, but hopefully we will have one someday. Our Swanee wrote a number of questions. Is there a list you wish you had not done? Is there a list you have been unable to do but really want to? And I love the Mental Floss Big Questions special issue. Will you make more like that? So first of all, I'm so glad you enjoyed the magazine. So much hard work went into it, and we were so excited to do it, so I'm happy that you enjoyed it. We're certainly hoping to do it again. Fingers crossed. Is there a list you wish you had not done? I feel pretty good about all the lists that we have done. I will say some are more challenging than others, and the one that comes to mind is the fossil facts video. First of all, we were shooting in the Big Bone Room, which is like one of the coolest places you could ever possibly go, but we only had it for a set amount of time. And then also, I can't say the scientific names of dinosaurs to save my life. Crossvalia wabrensis.
Crossvalia?
Morelia, nope. It was a high pressure situation for me personally. And then the last question, is there a list you have been unable to do but really want to? We actually really want to do a list of party hacks. It involves setting a cabbage on fire. We just can't find a place that will let us set things on fire. Trey Bansal wrote, how do you guys screen comments that'll be good content, or do you pick at random? So basically, if a bunch of people are commenting on one thing, we'll kind of pick that out, but sometimes we just kind of see something that piques our curiosity and then we'll let that guide us. The thing that makes it a little complicated is that we have to run it by fact check, and so sometimes things don't pass fact check, and so then, you know, it becomes complicated, but that's my answer. Hi Asconi wrote, what's your favorite silly fact? I have so many. One of my favorites is that cats can't taste sweet things, which you would never know if you hang out with my cats because they want to eat every cupcake I've ever had. But ultimately, I think I always come back to lobsters pee out of their faces because it has everything. It has lobsters, it has pee, it has faces. You can tell a lot about a person by how they react to, did you know that lobsters pee out of their faces? Also, if you want to know how to tell male lobsters from female lobsters, that does not go over well at a clam bake. I don't see a name on this one, but someone asked, how do you come up with the list that you comprise, and how do you decide on which list to air once selected? So a lot of our ideas come from brainstorms. So the staff will get into a room together and we are a bunch of weirdos. And so there are a lot of ideas that come from that. And then, how else do we come up with ideas? Sometimes our videos correspond to like big anniversaries or something, but a lot of the times we just release them in the order that we write and record them. Wenzel Says, who we've actually featured on other videos, asks, what's a list of a few of your favorite list show lists? It's like the inception of questions. Okay, so I would say the Teddy Roosevelt list, because I'm a Ted head and I'm biased, and also we made a podcast. Download it, subscribe. But then also amazing yard sale finds I think was really fun. I know it definitely made me look at all the junk I have in my apartment differently. And then I think my other favorite was the fossil facts episode, because we got to leave the studio and go to a place we'd never shot before that also happened to be really cool. Even if I could not ever say Monty Python riverensiensis. In 1985, Australian scientists discovered the fossil of an ancient python in Riverslea, Queensland, Australia, which they named Manthipanthoshibwisaba. Solex555 asked, can I have a job? I don't know if this was a serious question. At the risk of taking a joke question seriously, I thought you might be interested to know some of the backgrounds of some of the people who work at Mental Floss. So I, for example, came from a magazine background. But I've been with Mental Floss for like 7 years, which is a really long time. That's crazy. Some of our staffers came from the publishing world like me, either websites or magazines. Some of them came from the freelance video world. Some of them came from book publishing. And one of them came from the Sunsetter Awnings dynasty. That would be Justin Dodd, ladies and gentlemen.
The sun used to make our outdoor deck and patio space so hot.
Chloe Lind asked us about our fact-checking process. So our fact-checker, the wonderful Austin Thompson, is like the most thorough person in the universe. And he actually wrote us a little statement that I would like to read to you. We truncated it because in typical Austin fashion, it was pretty long. So first, he starts with looking for the source cited by the script's writer. So every time we write a script, we have source links embedded in it. He doesn't trust websites simply citing a primary source because it's easy for misinformation to get cited in one place and then continually be cited by other sources, which is something that the entire internet deals with. As he says, it's about digging deeper into research until you hit the bottom. Newspapers.com is a great newspaper archiving tool, for example. Oh, he also shared a trick for tracking down quotations, because as we all know, there are so many misquotations online. So he picks a small and unique string of words to search for rather than the whole quotation. which helps find sources that might have misspellings in them and helps him figure out what part of the quotation might be real versus parts that have somehow floated into the supposed quotation over the years. In reality, it is a much more complicated process than that, and Austin is such a huge part of our team. We would be factless without him. That's maybe not quite true, but we wouldn't be certain of our facts without him. That's true. Baking Frog asked, what list have you found most fascinating? For me, it's actually the very first one that we did, which is common things that science hasn't figured out. It's fascinating that there are things we do every single day, like laugh or cry or dream, and science hasn't zeroed in exactly on why those things happen. That's what I like. Our next episode is back to our regularly scheduled weirdness. We're going to talk about strange old predictions from the past for the 21st century. If you have a favorite old prediction from the past about how people thought we'd be living today, leave it in the comments. That'll be out next Wednesday, February 5th. It's part of our commitment to release a new video every Wednesday in 2020. We'll see you then.